It is the most fundamentally complex kicking technique out of the kicking arsenal. What you want to do is there are three main points of a side kick, and those are the chambering of the kick itself, and then the rechamber. To start the side kick out, what you want to do is start out in some kind of fighting stance. It's easiest that way. So from a fighting stance, what you want to do is chamber the kicking leg. And in order to do that, you will bring your knee up to your chest. You'll bend the kicking leg, pull your heel to your hip. Your knee will be slightly higher than your foot. Simultaneously, while you're bringing up your knee, you're going to pivot the base foot 180 degrees. If you don't pivot the base foot 180 degrees, you're not turning your hips over. A lot of people who do side kicks don't turn their hips over, and if you're not turning your hips over, plain and simple, you're not kicking with maximum power. When you chamber the side kick, your foot should already be in side kick position. The weapon that you're using is the knife edge of the heel. You don't want to pull your chamber too close to your chest though, because doing that will cause you to more or less stomp, and side kick is not a stomp, it's a kick. It should not look like a stomp, and there are a few side kicks out there that the chamber's too close to the chest and it looks like they're stomping sideways. Don't do that. The chamber needs to be tight, but it doesn't need to be so close to your chest. A lot of people, I would say 99% of the people who I see do side kicks do not kick from the hip. They kick it from the knee, and that's not a side kick. A side kick is a kick that comes from the hip. If you're kicking from the knee, you're doing a roundhouse kick. So you must kick from the hip. It's absolutely mandatory in order to do a correct side kick. When you chamber the kick, what you want to do is you want to bring the heel in line with your hip. Now, from this point, once you've chambered, what you want to do is draw an imaginary line from your hip or your heel to the target. You want your heel to travel on that straight line. If it's not traveling on that straight line, you're kicking with your knee. So the foot needs to jet out straight. And whenever you execute a side kick, you need to do it with a lot of speed, because you might have all the power in the world. If you're not fast enough to get your technique where it needs to go, what's the point in executing the kick at all? Now, once you've executed the technique, you should lock out from the knee for about a second, maybe two. I don't suggest locking your side kick out at longer than 2 seconds. You need to stick it very hard. You should feel the kick snap. And then once you've stuck the technique, bring the heel back on that same exact imaginary line that it came from. Your side kick should travel in exactly on the same path that it traveled out from. Not only that, but your chamber and your rechamber should look identically the same. Once you've rechambered, put down the chamber in a controlled way. When practicing side kick, I suggest doing slow motion kicking. If you want to improve the technique of whatever kick, whatever technique it may be, let's say it's side kick, practice doing the side kick in slow motion. At first, I would use the back of a chair. Don't rely on the chair though. Don't lean on the chair. Just use the chair to maintain balance, but don't use it as a tool. And kick high, but not too high to where you lose control of the technique. Chamber the technique slowly. Pay attention to every detail. Make sure your foot position is correct. Kick out slowly. Hold it for about 30 seconds. Really make the technique burned into your muscles. Rechamber the kick slowly. Pay attention to detail again. Then put the foot down. I would do reps of these. And when you get more comfortable and your balance becomes stronger, take the chair away and then do slow motion kicking without anything holding you up. Just do it stationary and look at a clock, because time passes by very slowly when you're watching that second hand go by, and it's good for you. It'll make your kicking skill much stronger. Slow motion kicking is the #1 way to make your kicking technique improve. Clean technique is the most important thing you will ever have. Whenever you execute a side kick, pay close attention to all the details. A lot of people, when they kick high, they look with their head and not their eyes. Don't do that. Look at your target with your eyes, not your head. When you have practiced enough, all these details that I've mentioned will become burned into your muscles. When this technique has become burned into your muscles, this technique, like every other one, will become very easy. Once that happens and you are executing a sidekick consistently, don't think about it. It's already burned in your muscles. Your body knows what to do. Just let your body do the work and let your mind rest.